At first glance, it seemed to me that he had been vomiting up noodles when he died. Looking closer, however, I realized that the round worms that had been living inside his body had come shooting out at once. We ran away, fighting back our nausea. Does everyone here know what round worms are? They are white parasites that look like worms and grow 20 or 40 centimeters long. Our father's factory had also been reduced to nothing but Scottish metal framing. Through the demolished walls, we caught a glimpse of the factory and saw 3 men walking with shovels. Overjoyed, we called out, "Our name is Yamawaki. Where is our father?" One of the men glanced over and said, "Your father is over there." He pointed in the direction of demolished office building. Thus, the 3 of us dashed off in the direction he had pointed to. What we saw there, however, was our father's corpse, swollen and scorched, just like all the others. As we stood there stunned, the man with the shovels said to us, "If you want to take your father back home with you, you'd better cremate him here. If you don't want to do that, the only other thing to do is bury him here. What are you going to do?" The crematories had also been destroyed in the bombing and couldn't be used. With nothing else to do, we went around the scorched ruins of the factory and gathered up smoldering pieces of wood so we could perform the cremation right there. We put our father's body on top of a bed of band posts and then piled up the pieces of wood on top of him. When we lit it on fire, the flames rose high in the air. We put our hands together and said prayers for him. When we look up again, after finishing our prayers, we saw both of our father's feet sticking out from the fire. That was an absolutely unbearable thing to see. Our feelings must have showed because the man from the factory said, "You'd better go home for today. You can come back tomorrow and collect the remains." The next morning, we looked around the kitchen area of our demolished house for a pot to put our father's remains in. We found one, and the 3 of us took it along with us as we went to collect our father's remains. It was very strange, but we weren't scared at all of the corpse we saw. We only thought of them as objects that blocked our way as we walked. When we arrived at the place where we had cremated our father's body, however, A shock weighted us. The body still remained as it had been the day before, in a half-cremated state and covered over with ash. There weren't any people from the company around. We three brothers only wanted to collect our father's cremated bones, but his half-cremated body was lying exposed. The only part of his body that had been cremated were the tips of his hands and feet of part of his stomach. We could only pick out a few of his bones. This body, which was like a skeleton covered in ash, was far more gruesome than the corpse of someone just deceased. It was even more unpleasant when we thought about how this body belonged to the same father we had always talked to and eaten meals with. It got so that I couldn't bear to look at our father's body anymore. And I said to my brother, "Let's go home now and leave his body here." Thinking back on that, I know that it was not a good thing to do. My brother looked at our father's body for a while longer, and then said, "We can't do anything more. Well, just take his skull home, and that will be the end." When the tongs my brother had touched our father's skull, however, it crumbled apart like a plaster model, and the half-burned brains come flowing out. Letting out a scream, my brother threw down the tongs and darted away. The other two of us ran after him. There were circumstances under which we forsook our father's body. I think that all people who lost family members and other close to them in the atomic bombing went through experiences similar to this. There were 70,000 people who were killed in an instant by a single atomic bomb. My mother, who had gone out to the country with youngest children on the day of the atomic bombing, passed away 7 years ago at the age of 97. I never ever told her the detail of what happened when we went to retrieve our father's remains, including how the brains had run out from his half-cremated skull, and how we had them run away home. Actually, another reason we didn't tell her was that she was in fact our stepmother, who had taken care of us since our dear mother passed away when we were 2 years old. After our father died, dead, my twin brother and I began working. We were 15 years old then, and we worked for next 45 years until we were 60. While working, we went to night school to complete our high school education. When I was 35, I began to have liver and kidney troubles. Because of this, I have been admitted to Nagasaki Atomic Bomb Hospital 15 times. I was given interferon and other treatment, which I am still receiving. Unfortunately, 2008 September, my doctor informed me that I had stomach cancer, and in October, I underwent surgery at Nagasaki University Hospital. And in 2010 January, I had surgery yet again, which fortunately was successful. One university professor has written that the atomic bomb killed people 3 times over. I think these words truly represent the horrific nature of the 3 destructive forces of the atomic bomb: its heat rays, its explosion blast, and its radiation rays. I pray that no one else will ever experience the brutal tragedy that I witnessed at the age of 11. However, it is said that there are some 20 or 30,000 nuclear warheads in existence, all of which are far more powerful than the atomic bombs used on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. There are still many people in the world who do not know how fearful and cruel nuclear weapons are. In addition to this, the world has become increasingly tense in the wake of 9/11, and there were still civil wars and international conflicts being fought. Please lend us your strength to eliminate nuclear weapons from the face of the earth and to make sure that Nagasaki is the last place on the earth to suffer an atomic bomb. Let us work together to build a peaceful world free of war. Thank you very much. This is my stepmother. This is my dear mother. This is my father.